Hey guys, welcome into the PuggoReborn channel. We are back with another preview of the Blazing Deserts DLC. Now this preview is a little bit different. It's not a dev blog, it is an actual video. Now if you haven't seen the video, guys, in the description below we'll have a link to that so you can dive in, watch that, and then get back to me on this because it's going to get really interesting. I did do a lot of comparisons as to what it is that we're going to be looking at in terms of the weapons, in terms of the armor, and in terms of some of the combat and what comes with a gladiator, because the gladiator is probably going to be the run is probably going to be the most, well, or one of the most flavored runs in the game, but that's also be seen. And as well as the Quaedal Dagger, I think that's going to be, man, get ready for some targeted broken dagger builds. I'm telling you right now, dagger builds make it great again. Okay, it's going to happen. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Also, guys, I did get granted early access DLC. And if you want to check that out, at the very end, I'm going to have some more details and whatnot. I did reach out to Jason, the one who ended up making this video. Awesome dude, and I'll be giving you guys some more details on that. Without further ado, let's dive right on into this. Okay, so starting out, we have ourselves a weapon that has not been brought to our attention just yet. They're going to be going over this here in the next video series. I imagine the next one's probably going to be about 20 minutes long because there's a lot of things that he's got to go over. However, for now, we have the two-handed scimitar. Now, there is the scimitar, skirmish axe, and the sav, which I'll pull up here in just a second. Now, looking at the actual damage, this is a two-handed cleaver. Interestingly enough, I wasn't expecting that, and I thought this may be undervalued, right? But when I started pulling up some of the pictures and whatnot as to the melee weapons, when we're talking about a two-handed weapon and we're looking at, for instance, the Warbrand was the closest thing I could get to it, because I'm assuming you're going to get 2 strikes out of this thing. I could be wrong, but based on our two-handed cleavers, if we go all the way down to that here, and of course I am using the wiki so for Battle Brothers, so I do appreciate those guys that have made this possible. This is an incredible tool to be checking out everything. But yeah, so I looked at the Rusty Warblade, and believe it or not, this other weapon does more damage. It does 65 to 85, where this does 60 to 80. However, against armor and stuff, you're going to be against the gun a little bit here. Because as we jump in fact, maybe I can just do this. You guys will be able to see it better. Theater mode is probably good enough. So 65 to 85 damage. The effectiveness against armor is actually the same, which I didn't notice that initially. However, the ignoring armor, of course, with your barbarian weapons, you're going to do a little bit better with that. However, guys, if the scimitar is using the same abilities as it does with creating more injuries, this could be devastating. This might actually put crippling strikes back into competition in this game because of this. You're causing more injuries, you're causing bleed on top of it, taking down the armor. Against nimble foes, this is going to devastate them. And I'm very excited. I'm excited to see how you can make this work, because I really thought that the scimitar or the skirmish axe or the sav would end up being a sword-esque weapon, which it is not. But if we were to look at it, like I said, the Warbrand would be the other one that I'd consider closest without using that mastery perk to add more depth to it. Now, if we keep diving in here, let's go to the next one. The sav is really the next thing that he talks about. I'm letting it roll right now in the sav. So the sav is the next one. The sav is more, this one is actually more towards the Warbrand. It has the same damage as the Warbrand, and I believe the effectiveness against armor is actually better on the sav. So we can go to that real quick. Yes, so the actual damage against armor is better. However, being that it's a cleaver, I'm assuming it's still going to be a 2-strike. It's not going to be an overhead strike. I could be wrong. We can't actually see it. They didn't. Jason didn't end up showing us that. Definitely something interesting to kind of look forward to. However, in the next part here, let's see here. I do have all the timestamps, at least when I'm checking this out. They did add new things, rice, incense, other spices, and so on. He did bring up the fact, if you guys didn't already know this, selling goods is gonna vary heavily from the north and south. If you travel to the north and travel to the south, you're gonna be able to get your best trading points all the way across the board. I noticed that rice, I don't have it up on the screen just yet. Here, actually, I could probably play and it'll go right to it. But rice ended up being worth 60. I believe that's the same as bread or berries. And so really it's on par with that. As we, again, trading through the north and the south, these things are going to be really interesting. I keep thinking to myself, what if there's a road that does not connect, right? You ever found a town that's not far away from another town, but there's no roads for like 5 days on a caravan mission? This could be one of those broken things. I have no idea. I'm just talking, of course. Don't take a little grain of salt with this. However, if you found a house that you could go to right away, that would be devastating. I mean, in terms of the price, you can make such a good trade route between the two if you made two factions really as best friends. One thing I did want to go to is somewhere in the beginning here. He does show the different civilizations, the different city-states. He starts coming down and checking that out. So with the city-states, you're making friends with individual city-states. And that's where it could be dangerous with these different factions to the north. If you made it one friendship, and you could hate the other two, you could piss off this city-state, the other city-state loves you. There's some tactics there that are to be explored. He also talked about one of the ruins here. I could pull up down here. Let's see. I'll try to. Let's pause this real quick. Just because I didn't have a timestamp for it, I'm going to go to photos real quick. I was going to do this photo to photo. But the oracle, the remains of a temple that once housed the oracle in an age long past. Although the ruin now, people still flock to it to have visions of things that will come to pass. That is really cool. I'm excited to dive into that as well. So you're going to see that as you explore these new locations. So just keep that in mind. So let's dive on to the next one, the Lorax, or the what is it? The Linthorax, the Anthrax. Oh my gosh, don't breathe that in, guys. That would be dangerous. I think I went too far. No, that's right. Okay, so the Linthorax is actually... okay, so you guys who want a more nimble build, this thing is going to be great to take on. I was checking it out through the armor, not the head. Here we are. So at 7 fatigue, you're getting 75. So you're looking right here. You look at like the Gambesons at 6, 7 for the reinforced animal hide. You end up going down. You know, of course, these are going to vary, but the padded leather is 8. So you're really getting that mix in between. Scrap metal armor, you're getting the best of in between this class. So if you do find this early on, definitely keep it. It's going to be a really nice weapon. Geez, what am I talking about? It's going to be nice armor to have, and plus the attachments, small attachments that you can put on with this would be really nice. The wolf hide. Geez, I'm trying to think of it all of a sudden. The dire wolf hides, adding that to it might be effective. Now, this next piece is definitely in the middle here, and that is the Southern Mail. So that is coming up here. It's going to be like 409. So, sorry guys. I wish I had just a timestamp I could just jump to it. But either way, yeah, so the Southern Shirt Mail, I ended up checking that out as well. We can check it out. Comparison here. Okay, well, I'm going to have to manually go down to it. Either way, we're looking at it as armor. What am I doing here? There we go. Okay, so armor 25. That seems pretty steep at 200. But if you think about it, when you're looking at the armor, it's actually right where it needs to be. And I think this is pretty smart of them when they put this in. The closest thing you have is the reinforced mail Hallberg at 26, 210. If you're looking at the ancient plates 28, ancient scale coat 25 at 109. So really, even with the footman's armor 24, 109, 190, you're really perfectly in the middle. I think they did a great job with that. It's not like we're going to have to constantly go to the south for all this great armor. But he did actually not show us, and you could tell if you watch how he was moving the cursor too. I really dug into this stuff, guys. He purposely wasn't looking at some of the other armor, some of the other helms. Like, I really want to check this helm out and see how in comparison that works as well. I did notice with the shields too. I didn't have it here, but with the shields, you notice that the shield jumps a little bit. In fact, we might be able to... Well, we'll go to it in a second here because we're going to check out the gladiators before long. The next one is going to be the fire pot, or the flash pot. He purposely moved around the mouse to avoid the flash pot, which I thought was pretty interesting. Or not the flash pot, but these other pots here. We do know now the prices are going to vary however you look at it. I'm assuming you probably can get them down to close to like the flash pot in general. You can get to probably about $6.50. If you're doing caravan runs, guys, I think caravan, if you do the caravan start, caravan hands, this could be a very, very nice run if you want to use more grenades and so on. This does tell you there's a range of 3 tiles, can hit up to 7 different targets, which is interesting. If it has that splash effect, you don't know who's going to get dazed, who won't. It is a one use. It does not replenish it, as it says there, destroyed on use. So it's going to be, again, very interesting to see. It is cool to see them in a store. It's also cool because they did talk, Jason ended up talking about how you will find the potions. You don't have to make them anymore. You do want to strive to make them, but you can find most of the potions in the store. He did not say all potions, he said most. So you won't randomly find, you won't randomly go to a store and find the Oblivion potion that changes all your stats and all that stuff. So yeah, with that being out of the way, the next one is going to be the helmet. So the helmet was kind of interesting to me. This is going to drive, I mean, I don't know if anybody's even noticed this yet, but the Gladiator helm, wow, this thing is sick. Now, he did say any of the Gladiator stuff that you get, you have to get through the arena. You get rewarded those things, you get crowns, he even brought up the fact that you have named items as well. You can get named items through the arena. And one thing I want to piggyback off of, I wish I knew, I'll try to give you a shout out in the comment section if you are watching this at least. Someone brought up that they think that lindworms are going to be lindworm will be something that you face as a higher tier to get a famed item, 3 men against that. Now, we're going to go over the size of the arena in a second here, but that's a very interesting thought. The only thing is people have found out how to destroy it with just one person. So if 2 people stay back, heavy armored archers, let's just say, so that way the lindworm focuses on the easier target, that could be a huge strategy to get these famed items, or named items, I mean, rather. So next thing here though, so again, we know that the helm is 11 fatigue. You do get the drop in vision, but 225 armor for the head. Now, that is sick. That is sick. Because look at this. At level 11, at level 13, even with the, your closest one is the closed padded flat top. 11, only 180. Guys, that's 45 more freaking armor. That's sick. Of course, you got the bar brute, which is 190, which is really nice. I think that's undervalued. I don't see this a lot where people are buying these things. At 12 fatigue, you're still getting into 200, you know, the bassinet with mail, you're starting to get 13, you're pushing it, you're still not there. The covered decayed, you're at 19, you're already 8 fatigue over. I don't know, guys. I feel like this arena thing is going to be very interesting, and it's gonna be sick. At the end of the day, it's gonna be just absolutely sick. I think these are things that we're gonna want to strive for. If you're making a nimble build, this could be really beneficial to you. So that's just something for all you guys that are very interested in this. The next thing would be the armor, and this I'll quickly go over. I think that it's pretty simple. 100 armor. What it's not telling you, what you may not have noticed, is that this is an attachment. So these attachments, even this, you're going to see this this little gold plate that he has over his other arm on the next soldier. These are attachments that you can add. So they're going to be separate from it, which means, is it 4? Is it 2? I'm imagining this is 2, so the actual armor you're seeing here is probably 80. But it's hard to tell. That's also 6 fatigue then, if that's the case. That is still fantastic. So as you'd probably assume, the gladiator armor is going to be better. Also, back to the shield, I did talk about that earlier. If you're looking at base stats and stuff, he does show this gladiator over here. Let's see if I can't pull him up real quick. You're getting close. One more over. Come on now. He's so close. Click on it, Jason. I know you want to. Of course. The armor too, right there. I can actually say, well, switch back. But the armor on this other guy, if we go back just a little bit, it actually shows. Yeah, so this is another thing right here, 155. So this right here, this is going to be a very heavy attachment, guys. This is the same bottom. Now hear me out on this. This is the exact same bottom as the guy over here, which means that this attachment is heavy. Either that or this other attachment was only 10. I mean, it had to be 10 armor. That is insane. That is insane, because at 90, that means that this is a 60. This adds 60 armor to your actual equipment. Really think about that for a second. This is a separate attachment. Remember that. Absolutely nuts. So we're actually going to have higher, stronger attachments that we're going to add to our brothers. Definitely very cool. But yeah, back to the whole thing with the shields. The shields are varying. I don't think that they're going to be exactly the same. I think the stats are going to vary a little bit more. Maybe less range defense, more melee, and vice versa with some of these other ones. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you look at like the guy with the Quaedle dagger coming up, that's a perfect situation that suits that. And it's kind of cool because he does give us a little tidbit into the Quaedle dagger. I actually am under the impression that the Quaedle dagger might be the absolute devastating thing. So here's another thing. Glorious. Gladiators come with special traits. Now, I don't know that you actually gain this particular trait. I do know that the Colosseum, this little icon right here, is +5 resolve. As to how far into the Colosseum, how far up the ranks you ended up getting, it doesn't say, like, does it all do resolve? Is it kind of like the Davcool event where you're getting more resolve? You're getting, what is no morale checks? I mean, what are those going to be? Or what kind of things are we seeing? Either way, this is showing you that they've added some really devastating effects here. So this first one is Glorious Resolve. Reroll every failed morale check for a second chance. Holy are you kidding me? If your resolve, his resolve already on this brother, 2 level ups every single time, guys. When you get those 2 level ups, if your resolve is at 55, 60, I know there's been a big discussion as to how far you should be, but let's just say you're at 55, 60 right there, right? Or you're at 50. This is saving brothers like you would not believe against morale checks. Against the Hexen, this is going to eliminate so many of those issues. But there is a downside to a lot of this stuff as well, which we'll see in just a second here. So 636 here, we got Glorious Endurance. Gains 5% damage reduction for every hit taken, up to a limit of 25. So I'm assuming this is based on a whole battle. So this character has fought in many battles, and every blow only strengthening his indomitable will and endurance. So yeah, ultimately it looks like you're going to, through a combat, through those times, it just stacks. So pretty much there's a point where the damage reduction is so freaking much. Now think of that. You take that damage reduction with Indom, that's nasty. That's nasty work right there, folks. That is going to be sick. So everybody's going to be different. Every gladiator is going to be different. It's already showing that if you can get a gladiator. I'm sure it's going to be very difficult to do so as well. Now the next one here, this one might be some people's favorites. There's going to be a lot of fans of this one I could see as well. All 3 of them are going to have their fans, but this one in particular, more killing power, right? This guy right here, Glorious Quickness. Upon killing an enemy on their turn, this character immediately gains 1 action point. Now with that action point, you can add that to Berserk. Berserk gives you 4 more action points. That means that with a 2-handed weapon, you're able to actually take you could do an AoE, kill 3 guys, or just kill 1 guy, or overhead strike 2 guys and take a step and then strike again, is what that should allow you to. Yes, it should allow you to do that if you're stationary. It almost adds the effect of a polearm mastery, how you're able to take an extra step with where you couldn't. Yeah, it'd be like taking an extra step and then killing something. That is sick, and I think it's gonna synergize really well with like trying to think of the other perk. Oh my gosh, Pathfinder, something like that would be really cool. I can imagine that being very helpful, changing terrain and so on. Alright, so moving on, guys. I know I'm kind of rolling through this a little bit, but the next one is very important as well, and that is going to be the wages. The wages are 61 daily. Starting out after 2 levels, you get the 2 level ups, as I stated before. When you do these 2 level ups, I mean, we're looking at, I mean, starting a company out with this much, I mean, you're gonna have to really push hard on those quests. And it did already state the gladiators have, if they're not satisfied or whatever, there will be random events where they want more money, or they won't want more money, they'll buy something, so the money will just be gone. And I'm sure that this is what makes this run so dangerous, is your money situation could just completely falter, which is not very cool. Of course, the next thing would be the arena fights. I'm gonna dive right on into the arena fight. We're getting closer to the end. So, as you know, when Jason was talking, he said that when you go in there, you can get your famed items. You have over a course of 5 days. By the 5th day, you'll have the strongest fight. So you could go to a city that's on its 5th day per se, with the really hard fight, whatever it may be. And so that varies, but a lot of it also varies on what brothers you're putting into this as well. I mean, depending on how strong your company is, that can determine some things he was talking about. The next thing here, though, 2 hyenas that he ends up fighting. They're both the frenzied hyenas, so they can do overwhelm. They shows that in the video as well. The thing I wanted you to check out is, being that there's 2 hyenas, he's getting 750 crowns. This is, I think, a very fair price. I think it's a good price. This is going to pay for 2 days, almost 2.5 days worth of wages for the gladiators. If you are going town to town daily, you can probably make enough money. And if you're well enough to do like Lone Wolf and spread your guys out, you might actually, I mean, I'm just stating it's possible that you can do a long-term conquest on this front, providing that these bad events don't overcome you. So that'll be interesting to see. The next thing here, the collars, we can kind of check that out. Most people already know about the collars. I'll just show you real quick. So these are the collars. You put them on. It avoids war dogs, if you guys didn't already know that. Next one, 1122, is going to be the arena size. So, well, right here is the arena size. So I was talking about earlier, somebody had brought up that facing lindworms would probably be, one lindworm is devastating, right? Some of you might be like, that's impossible. But if you know the strategy of just having them chase you around the map, just go naked into a fight. Put one collar on a guy and be like, okay, chase me, and then stab him to death. Stay two spots away from the tail, so his head has to move, then the tail gets within range. Rinse and repeat. Stab, keep moving. Stab, keep moving. You can do it with any brother, except for, I'd say, hedge knights are pretty tough because they have such low resolve, or initiative. It's a lot harder to do it with a hedge knight. Either way, I digress. This is the arena. It's plenty of room to do that kind of strategy. It's plenty of room to mess around with Lone Wolf. I think Lone Wolf is going to be one of the dominant features in terms of the pack of perks to help in this situation. So that'll be really interesting to get into as well. Now the next part, this is my favorite. This is what I'm most excited to show you guys, is the Quaedal Dagger. And what the heck? Yeah, that's not right. It's gonna be, I don't know why I put way too high of a thing here. It's gonna be somewhere right here. Okay, well, we're gonna do this as 2 different ways here. Number 1, this is your damage, 30 to 45. Now I do have the Rondel Dagger pulled up here. It is better altogether with this dagger. One thing that you may not know about it, however, is instead of doing puncture, if you look at puncture, it does 20 fatigue. When you do that other effect, that other status effect, oops, let's go back over here. When you do the status effect, it's less. So now that you can see the Quaedal Dagger, it does more damage as a whole, and a lesser of a gap. It's like using a boar spear, for instance, which is actually pretty sick when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it. So 1251 is going to actually show you. Let's see if we can't. Okay, so this right here, I'm actually gonna, oh shoot, I didn't. There we go. Okay, it's paused. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit just so you guys can get a better grasp on this. Okay, so this shows you it only builds up 10 fatigue. Instead of 20 fatigue, it's only 10. Guys, think about it for a second. If you did a dagger mastery and you did 10 fatigue per stab, tops you're gonna get up to 30 fatigue. Look at the hit points being inflicted. 37 to 56. 33% more damage. An additional 20% ignoring armor to stunned, dazed, stunned, sleeping, and trapped in nets. Nets are going to have a new overhaul to this game. You could literally put a Quaedal Dagger, put Quick Hands, put bags and belts on a guy, and sit there and stab the absolute hell out of an enemy. Now granted, is that the most effective way to do it? No. But if you use grenades, for instance, too, you can one-shot a lot of enemies with this thing. You can two-shot a lot of good enemies with this thing. And in one sweep, you could do 3 strikes and totally kill something. This is going to reinvent daggers. I truly believe it. If I'm wrong, tell me. But that's sick. I mean, that is insane. It is legit, absolute mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. So I just want to show you guys that that was the coolest thing. That's all the things that I found that were really in depth that I don't think a lot of people are gonna truly see right off the bat. But wow, man, it's just insane. Anyways, guys, the next part that I'm gonna get into is the early access stuff. Let's dive out of that real quick here. So early access, I ended up messaging Jason. He ended up getting back to me and whatnot. They are super busy right now. That's the deal. They are doing everything in their power to be able to release early access, or not early access, release early access, to get the game on par. I think when it releases, there might be some little things, but they're really solid. They said, he said that he really wanted it to be done by the 13th. They're fighting for it right now. It sounds like they're on pace. Everything should be good. It's going to be several days. He didn't give me an exact date. He just said keep checking. And so I know that much at least prior. So I will have the game in early access during the week. I think it'll be Monday, just based on how he was talking. It's kind of hard. I also talked to him about possibly doing an interview at some point down the road. He said right now he's very busy. They are currently, when they're finished with this, they have another game that they have in the waiting that they're very excited about as well, that they're going to dive into. So there is definitely that. And they said if you like Battle Brothers, you probably like that as well. Now, that was actually a while ago that we talked about that, but I figured now is a good time to let you guys know that. It's very exciting. What a great time to be supporting a studio like this. So I do want to encourage everybody, if you haven't already gotten Blazing Deserts DLC, but you're in absolute love with this game, they have not disappointed. And I've talked to him prior to, he's expressed how much he wants to work for to satisfy the fans and stuff. They are truly about you guys. I wish I could show you all the emails and stuff, or the emails that we've gone back with, but yeah, they're really serious about what they're doing, and I hope you guys are seeing that as well. So if you could, don't just buy the $14.99 DLC, buy the supporting pack as well, guys. As much as you can, help these guys out. And also, when I'm done with early access, I'm gonna be giving away 3 copies of the game. So if you are in a situation, maybe you're a student, maybe you're a single parent, or maybe you're, whatever the case is, maybe you're not able to afford this, guys. I want to be able to give this away to those that really want this game, can't afford it, or maybe you can, but you're interested in, I mean, if you can get it for free, you can get it for free. That's great. I do have a list growing right now. I will be giving it away to 3, like I said, and that'll be on the 13th. So when you guys let me know, if you could, give me your gamer tag for Steam, and I can, so that way I'll invite you to my dummy account, and then I'll end up giving you the game. But yeah, so once again, guys, thanks for coming out to the channel. This is absolutely amazing. I am beyond stoked. I can't even tell you. So let me know what you guys think about everything, thoughts, opinions, ideas, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.